1300 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Uzbek president has arrived at the Afghan Sadr in Islamabad for talks with his Pakistani counterpart. The Minister for Information has asked India to play cricket against Pakistan instead of hatching conspiracies. At the United Nations, Pakistan has called for restraint and avoidance of disproportionate actions in the Ukraine conflict. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, People's Democratic Party and Communist Party of India have termed the revival of village defence committees in the territory as an attempt to create a wedge between communities. And now the news in detail. The Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev has arrived at the Afghan Sadr in Islamabad for talks with President Dr Arif Alvi. On arrival, the President received the visiting dignitary. The President Dr Arif Alvi appeared before an anti-terrorism court in Islamabad today in the 216 arms case against him. He was accompanied by his counsel, advisor on parliamentary affairs Babar Awan. Speaking in the court, the president said he has appeared before the court as he wants to get the presidential immunity quashed and set a precedent. He said the Constitution of Pakistan gives him the immunity, but he does not want it. He said all the caliphs used to appear before the courts and there is no room for immunity. The president said he wants everybody to respect the courts. He also prayed to the courts to timely decide the cases. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Chaudhry Fawad Hassan, has asked India to play cricket against Pakistan instead of hatching conspiracies. Talking to the media at the cricket stadium in Rawalpindi today, he said we desire to promote sports between Pakistan and India. Chaudhry Fawad Hassan said Prime Minister Imran Khan will also come to the stadium to watch the first cricket test match against Australia. The Australian Cricketers Association Chief Executive Todd Greenberg has appreciated the security arrangements made for the Australian cricket team in Pakistan. He was addressing a news conference at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium today along with other office bearers of Australia Cricket, ICC and the Pakistan Cricket Board ahead of the first cricket test match between Pakistan and Australia. In his remarks, the Chief Executive Officer of Cricket Australia, Nick Hockley, appreciated the overwhelming warm welcome received by the Australian cricket team in Pakistan. The Chief Executive Officer of the ICC, Jeff Elordis, said a strong Pakistan is very important for international cricket. The Chief Executive Officer of the Pakistan Cricket Board, Faisal Hasnan, said the Australian tour sends out a very positive and strong message to the entire world. He expressed the confidence that when the Australian team returns home, they will leave with fond memories and become ambassadors of Pakistan. At the United Nations, Pakistan has called for restraint and avoidance of disproportionate actions in the conflict stemming from Russia's special military operation against Ukraine. Speaking at the urgent session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations office, Khalil Hashmi, expressed deep concern over the failure to resolve the week-long crisis through diplomatic means. He said a diplomatic solution is indispensable to de-escalate the conflict and mitigate further human sufferings and displacement. The Pakistani envoy said human rights and adherence to obligations under the international humanitarian law remains imperative. He welcomed the recent talks between the two sides and called for its continuation. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the president of People's Democratic Party, Mahbooba Mufti, and the Communist Party of India Marxist leader, Mohammad Yusuf Tarigami, have termed the revival of village defence committees as an attempt to create a wedge between the communities. In a tweet, Mahbooba Mufti said the move of the Ministry of Home Affairs to form village defense communities across the territory is another addition to a slew of decisions. Mohammad Yusuf Tarigami, in a statement in Srinagar, described the plans of the Indian government and the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir administration to revive the village defense committees as alarming. Their role is shadowed by their involvement in rampant human rights abuses. And now cricket. On the first day of the first cricket test match against Australia at Rawalpindi, Pakistan in their first innings were 105 runs for the loss of 1 wicket at the lunch break today. Earlier, Pakistan won the toss and decided to bat first. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.